Ми зараз переходимо до звіту президента. Великого вступу я не буду робити, бо якщо ви не знаєте пані Лесю дотепер, you're the wrong Congress. Okay? Леся є надзвичайно віддана людина, моя подруга і подруга багатьох людей тут. Ми їй гратулюємо за всю свою роботу, і ви зараз побачите, чому.
Ще раз доброго ранку. Дякую всім, що зібралися на 28-му трирічному конгресі. We have been coming together as a community for over 8 decades to learn, debate, recharge our batteries, and honor those among us who have made extraordinary contributions. The success of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress would not be possible without the dedication of every single person in this room and the member organizations that you represent. This presentation was entitled President's Report, but it's really the report of everything that we have accomplished together over the last 3 years, because without you, we would be nowhere. So just a quick reminder about the 3 pillars in the context of which we work. So supporting Ukraine, celebrating and advancing our Ukrainian Canadian identity, and growing our community. Since February of 2022, the overwhelming amount of our work has gone to supporting Ukraine, and this will continue until Ukraine defeats Russia. We're laser focused on keeping Canada united in support of Ukraine, and that includes the government, opposition parties, the Canadian public, and public institutions. And we execute this mission through a series of advocacy initiatives and policy recommendations. Our recommendations to the government are, and I hope you can recite along with me because we reinforce this every week. So we're looking for an increase in military assistance, increased investment in joint defense production, invest in domestic energy production to deprive the Russian war machine of revenue, designate Russia a state supporter of terrorism, and increase sanctions on Russia and work with allies to seize the $300 billion in Russian assets. As you can see, our efforts are having some effect. Canada has committed substantial assistance to Ukraine, and we heard this morning that Canada will continue to do so. At the same time, our advocacy has an impact on Canadian society, which remains strongly supportive of Ukraine. Our recent poll tells us that the vast majority of Ukrainians understand what is at stake and want to see aid to Ukraine increased. We shared this poll recently with you in a news release, and you can find it on our website. Consultants will tell you that it is crucial that we all speak with one voice. That is why, when events evolve, we keep you updated with fresh talking points for media and inquiries that you might receive in your branches. We have also renewed our Advocacy Day. Last year, we met with over 50 members of Parliament and senators. Thank you to everyone who participated. We'll be planning another Advocacy Day in the new year, and I invite all of you to join us on Parliament Hill. Our rallies across Canada in support of Ukraine continue to draw thousands of people and much media attention. This year, on the 3rd anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion, we held demonstrations in 49 communities. We cannot afford Ukraine fatigue, so we ask that you continue to encourage your communities to come out and visibly support our efforts. So thank you to all of those who plan and attend these events. We also continue to work with the Canada-Ukraine Foundation on delivering aid to Ukraine. Thank you to Andriy Maletsky, the president and chair of the Ukraine Humanitarian Appeal, The staff, led by Executive Director Valery Kostyuk, the board members and committee members, and everyone at the Canada-Ukraine Foundation for your amazing work and cooperation. Together, we have delivered almost $100 million in aid to Ukraine. A special thank you to And a special thank you to Canadians, to our Canadian friends, both individuals and corporations, whose generosity makes this possible. I am immensely grateful and proud of our community for so generously welcoming 300 displaced Ukrainians since the full-scale invasion in February of 2022. Together with the Canada-Ukraine Foundation, we were able to supplement government settlement services to make the lives of displaced Ukrainians just a little bit easier. We asked for and got your help to ensure that the Canada-Ukraine Authorization for Emergency Travel, the QIT program as we know it, was extended. A reminder that the deadline for applying for extensions of your visas and work permits is March 31st. Of 2026. However, as the war will soon enter its 5th year, we need to provide stability and certainty to displaced Ukrainians who cannot return home or who have no home to return to. We have asked the government for a special pathway for permanent residence for Ukrainians who are here under the QIT program. We have also asked all of our provincial presidents to work with their provincial ministers to maximize opportunities for Ukrainians under the provincial nominee program. Please help support those efforts by calling your members of parliament and your MPPs, MLAs. I am very grateful to Olena Bulat and our working group on displaced persons for their efforts in supporting our advocacy. Since the last Triennial Congress, there have been many important delegations from Ukraine. President Zelensky has visited Canada twice, and we met with him to discuss our communities and the Government of Canada's support for Ukraine. Most recently, in June, when President Zelensky was invited to the G7 Leaders Summit in Kananaskis, we had the opportunity to meet with him in Calgary. I have also had the opportunity to travel to Ukraine. In June of 2024, I accompanied the Minister of International Trade, Minister Ng, on the first trade delegation to Ukraine following the adoption of the modernized Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement. Increasing trade and commercial ties will be a key aspect of our advocacy work with the new Carney government. In August, I participated in a Ukrainian World Congress delegation visit to Ukraine, along with President Pavlo Grod. We witnessed Prime Minister Carney's inspiring speech on Sofiivska Ploshta on Independence Day. Prime Minister Carney delivered greetings on behalf of the G7. His speech, if you haven't heard it, take a listen, was both moving and very well received. We met with President Zelensky and other high-ranking Ukrainian officials and participated in Ukraine's second National Prayer Breakfast, which had over 1,200 delegates from over 60 countries. This is a very important part of Ukraine's cultural and spiritual diplomacy. This past February, the UCC was honored to support Team Ukraine and veterans from 25 nations at the Invictus Games in British Columbia. 35 veterans from Ukraine participated. The UCC partnered with the Temerte Foundation and the Canada-Ukraine Foundation to support their participation. I am told that the Ukrainian delegation got standing ovations everywhere they went. Moving to our second pillar, celebrating our Ukrainian Canadian culture and identity, Senator Stan Kucher's bill to establish September as Ukrainian Heritage Month in Canada was passed by the Senate, and we're grateful to Senator Kucher for introducing the bill, and we know that the House of Commons will swiftly adopt it. Vyshyvanka Day continues to be a very popular event across the country with dozens of events held across the country. Every year, more and more members of Parliament purchase a vyshyvanka in all parties, all senators, members of provincial legislative assemblies and municipal governments participate in this beautiful celebration of the Ukrainian tradition. We also continue to remember and honor the victims of the Holodomor. It is our duty to ensure that more Canadians learn about the Holodomor. Commemorative events are held every year. This year, they'll be held next weekend. And a special thank you to Irka Mitsak and Valentina Kureliu for leading national Holodomor awareness and Holodomor education efforts across the country. In 2022, Canada's Parliament recognized the 1944 mass deportation by the Stalin regime of the Crimean Tatar people as an act of genocide. We participate in commemorative events of this Crimean Tatar genocide every year. I also want to thank Boris Sidoruk for leading, and to everyone who ensures the success of annual commemorations of Canada's First World War internment operations. In 2024, the Internment Committee expanded its internment education campaign, encouraging the use of online resources for both elementary and secondary school students. Together with the Ukrainian War Veterans Association of Canada, the UCC established the Ukrainian Canadian Sacrifice Medal in 2022. The medal honors Canadians who have been killed or wounded or are missing in action or presumed deceased who fought for Ukraine's freedom. To date, 14 Canadians have been bestowed the medal. The chair of the Medal Committee, Taras Yatskyou, will have a detailed presentation later today. I thank Taras and all the members of the committee for this very important project, which thanks our fellow Canadians who join us in our fight for Ukraine's freedom. Sadly, we have seen a significant rise in anti-Ukrainian hate since Russia's full-scale Russian invasion. We know why that is. It's the continued presence of the Russian embassy in Canada. So in response to this, we established a committee of law enforcement professionals from our community to advise us, and Ihor and our staff work closely with them. We surveyed our community in 2023, and the results were alarming. Whereas 29% reported experiencing an anti-Ukrainian incident before February of 2022, this number increased to 47% after February of 2022. We briefed the Minister of Public Safety, other federal officials, and we have developed resources for our community. The UCC was granted party standing at the public inquiry into foreign interference, which was presided over by Commissioner Justice Marie-Josée Hogue. We presented evidence, gave testimony, and communicated forcefully the threat that both our community and Canadian society face from Russia's attempts to undermine our democracy. While Commissioner Hogue correctly identified Russia as one of the countries threatening our democracy, among the 51 recommendations, disappointingly, there were none that would adequately address this threat. So our work continues. Last October, I testified at the House of Commons Committee on Public Safety and National Security, where James Bazan skillfully cross-examined me. I can say that we're halfway home. The government acknowledges and understands the threat that Russia poses to Canada. Now we need to take action. In April, Canadians went to the polls in a federal election. As has become tradition for the UCC, we published our national policy guide, surveyed all party leaders on issues that are important to our community, and published the results so that Canadians were well informed on Election Day. We also published our federal election guide, encouraging our community to participate in all aspects of the election. Your engagement in the political process is critical. For us to build influence, members of our community must engage with all parties in all provinces. In partnership with the Canada-Ukraine Foundation, this summer we conducted the Ukrainian Newcomer Survey, the results of which were published last month. The survey, in which over 4,000 people participated, will allow us to better plan and address the needs of the new members of our community. Pollsters tell us that our response to our surveys is amazing. We get some professional advice from them, and when they tell us to aim for 1,000, we have consistently beat that because our surveys are popular in our community and very well received. Our Youth Ambassador Program, launched in 2024, is an 8-month leadership program that empowers our young people to undertake projects that address local community needs. We are glad to this year have welcomed the second cohort of youth ambassadors and look forward to this program growing into the future. You'll see many of them here this weekend. UCC's Szkilna Rada continues its excellent work, and this work is so important now that we have an influx of young Ukrainian children coming to Canada. They are helping to integrate those thousands of children in the school systems, both in our daily schools and in our Saturday schools. Since the last Congress, they have held 2 conferences that reached hundreds of educators internationally, and we are grateful to them for this very important work. Our community continues to grow. The UCC was very happy to welcome 5 new branches to the last Congress. We welcomed Prince Edward Island, the Ukrainian Association of Fredericton, New Brunswick, the Ukrainian Cultural Organization of Newfoundland and Labrador, Waterloo, Wellington, Ontario, and the Ukrainian Canadian Association of Yukon. We can now say that we truly represent our community from sea to sea to sea. And make sure that you connect with and welcome the delegates from those new members. So, re-established in 2017, the UCC Charitable and Education Trust, by the UCC Charitable and Education Trust, the UCC Parliamentary Internship Program has placed 12 interns in the offices of members of Parliament. Training is provided by the Paul Usick Institute, and we are grateful to everyone who contributes to the success of this program. It is very important to build leadership in political engagement, and this is just one way that we do that. We also delivered a series of webinars to help Ukrainians who have sought refuge in Canada to adjust to life here. We held the Expert Insight series, and we also, together with Service Canada, organized webinars on how to access government services and programs. These are still available online, and we invite you to access them. We also established the Hromada portal, which we launched earlier this year to connect people with Ukrainian Canadian businesses, support services, and our community organizations. As the portal grows and expands, we hope that it becomes a one-stop shop for all things Ukrainian Canadian. So send in your submissions, list your businesses, your projects, and we'd be happy to host them. In the past 3 years, a great deal of work has been done behind the scenes to establish the new UCC National Foundation. This will become the new charitable arm of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress. The UCC National Foundation was established to ensure the financial viability of the UCC into the future. The new foundation complies with governance obligations for charities and meets the increasing expectations of donors who look for transparency, accountability, and efficiency. I want to thank Hanya Sheptur, John Denisik, and Anna Kuprieva for their hard work in establishing this new foundation. I also want to thank Hanya, our first vice president, who is also co-chairing this mammoth Congress this weekend. Hanya is stepping down as Vice President to chair the new National Foundation, and she will continue to work with us on the executive to serve as the Foundation's liaison with the UCC. Since I have been president, and long before, Hanya has been a friend on whom I've relied not daily but hourly, she hasn't blocked me yet, for sage advice, for help and leadership. Hanyu, дякую тобі за твою працю і за твою дружбу. So now to thank our big family. The UCC is blessed with dedicated executive officers and an executive committee with whom it has been my pleasure to work on a daily basis these last 3 years. Serdečno дякую вам. Our board of directors ensures the success of the UCC and capably represents the many organizations which are united under our UCC umbrella. I'm very grateful to the board for your continued commitment and support. Our advisory council, led by James Temerte and co-chaired by Ian Inatovich, provides invaluable advice and timely counsel on a wide variety of subjects. Their experience and guidance are invaluable to us, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. Our provincial councils coordinate an enormous amount of work across Canada. We are lucky to have them, and our community is stronger because of their tireless efforts. Thank you to each and every one of them. So, former U.S. House Speaker Tip O'Neill used to say that all politics is local. So too is community life. Our UCC branches are the backbone of our organization and a continuing source of inspiration for us all. That list is getting bigger every year. Our UCC committees are dedicated to serving our community and to ensure that our organizations, councils, and branches have access to much-needed information and resources. Thank you to all. And, of course, thank you to our Board of Auditors, chaired by Evanchal Khan, my former neighbor, for their diligence in ensuring our governance processes are effective. And of course, we couldn't do it without the generosity of our donors who keep the UCC working at a high level of professionalism. Thank you very much to all the members of our various cabinets and circles. So the President's report, as I said at the outset, is not my report, it's your report. And it is the effort of the thousands of volunteers and the hundreds of you who gather at our congresses every year that makes our community what it is. Someone who was attending this Congress for the first time said to me yesterday, I can't believe the energy in this place. And I know that you all feel it because you are generating it. So while I serve as the president, the credit is all yours. And we couldn't do it without our staff. Our team, led by Ihor, joined by Orest, Larissa, Anastasia, Lesia, Thaisa, Lesia, the other Lesia, and of course, Zoila Terrace. We are blessed to have such talented professionals supporting all of our work. So the Triennial Organizing Committee, if they are here in the room, I invite you to stand up, but you're probably in the back rooms working somewhere. But you have developed an amazing program for this weekend, and I know that this Congress will be an unforgettable one. And of course, their work has been supported by the donors to this Congress. Your contribution is invaluable, and we could not have made this weekend what it is without your contribution. So, I now move to very special presentations. We've heard about the incredible amount of work that our Hromada has done in the past 3 years, but we're also grateful to have so many allies from outside our Hromada who support us and who support Ukraine. I would like to highlight the work of one individual and one organization who deserve special mention and to present them with a certificate of appreciation. First, I would like to recognize Dr. David Pedlar. He has been a staunch David has been a staunch supporter of Ukraine for many years. He is a professor in the School of Rehabilitation Therapy at Queen's University and a senior scientist at the University of Ottawa Institute for Mental Health Research at the Royal Hospital. He is a distinguished researcher and thoughtful leader with an impressive track record advancing veteran, military, and family health research and policy in Canada and internationally. He is currently working with retired General Romeo Dallaire, who will speak to us later in the Congress, to ensure that Ukrainian veterans have the care and support that they deserve. I'm very happy to present a certificate of appreciation to Dr. Pedlar for his staunch support of Ukrainian veterans. And now, this is not a rock band. These are the Russian embassy protesters. These are a group of local activists in Ottawa who gather to protest outside the Russian embassy every single day since February 24th of 2022. So let me tell you a little bit about what they do. So neither rain nor sleet nor snow stop them. They keep Ukraine on the front burner of news in Canada. Most importantly, we know that they irritate the hell out of the war criminals who staff the Russian embassy. So, representing the protesters are Karen Niven and Catherine Morneau. Thank you. So that brings my report to a close, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. or you can catch me over coffee. Дякую вам.